evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world, 40-something gamers. Me and my friend Sharon been friends since the 1990s. Xers, and we just like to talk about video games and pop culture from our perspective. And today we have a very special guest, man, coming from DFW area. Mr. Josh Patterson is here with us. How you doing?
I'm doing great today. Just happy to be here and excited to discuss the history of gaming. It's a very rich history, and I'm happy to have been able to enjoy my share in it over my 30 years of living. So, I'm just real excited to see all we're talking about today.
Okay, cool. First question, man. Team Mario or Team Sonic?
Team Sonic, and I'll explain.
You got one for Sonic.
I'll explain why. So I grew up at the age of 4. My first 2 game systems were Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. And while I did play a bit of Mario, I was really heavy on Sonic, specifically Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Following that, I also played Sonic and Knuckles a lot. And what was cool about those 2 games is Sonic and Knuckles was like this special kind of cartridge, and it had this attachment at the top. It was almost like an adapter. And what you could do is, if you connected Sonic 2 with Sonic and Knuckles, you could play as Knuckles in Sonic the Hedgehog 2 as well. So that was cool. I think even with Sonic 3, you could do the same thing where you could play as Knuckles. So I grew up on Sonic games, typically playing with my younger brother. I would always be Sonic and he'd be Tails. He didn't mind playing as Tails because, if anybody who controlled Tails as player 2 had a little more movement freedom as far as being able to traverse the stage. And, Tails can fly and all of that. So, but just going through that and then just growing up playing all the Dreamcast titles, Sonic Adventure 2 later on, Sonic Heroes. I just kept going and going. And then I love art. So growing up, I did Sonic the Hedgehog comic books. So yeah, I'm definitely Team Sonic.
Right. Sharon's an artist as well. So you like Team Sega, man, because you had me thinking about Sonic Tuesday. And then, September 9th of 1999. I think you were there too, Sharon. We both got a Sega Dreamcast, and Sonic Adventure was, that was the game to get. Did you know? So we talk about a lot too with Sonic 3 and Michael Jackson's involvement and the music.
Yes, I'm familiar with, Michael Jackson producing the music for Sonic the Hedgehog 3. And, it's fun because I played that game all the way through as well. But like just listening to it, I didn't know originally, I learned about it later on, but I didn't know originally it wasn't necessarily Michael Jackson who produced those songs. But every time I listened to that music, I was like, hey, these songs, they got a little bit of attitude and spice to them, So it doesn't surprise me that, that a Black artist had produced that music, because it definitely had its own unique flair and attitude. And I love the beats. I'll have to recall some of the stages because there are certain songs on certain stages that I'm especially fond of.
Yeah. Okay. So for Sonic, my favorite one was the Starlight, the music for the Starlight stage.
Okay.
What music? And then what was the one, Sharon, on Sonic 1? People still debate. They think it's Every Little Step I Take.
Spring Your Zone.
I think it might be the second stage on there.
That's the third stage. That's Spring Yard. The second stage is the Marble Zone.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. The Spring Yard. So there's a debate that it sounds like Bobby Brown's Every Little Step I Take.
You know what it always, when I first heard it, what it sounded like to me was like something Stevie Wonder would have composed.
Yeah.
When I first heard it, I was like, God, it sounds. I didn't think Bobby Brown till they started talking about that a few years ago. But it always had a Stevie Wonder flair to me.
I think
like an 80s. Huh?
No, you're good. I was just going to say my favorite personally was the Chemical Plant Zone from Sonic the Hedgehog 2. So that somebody actually did a post on Facebook where they dubbed that over a Old Train clip.
Yeah.
Wow.
People are dancing down the aisle, but they're playing Chemical Plant.
I think one of my favorite was like when they did the Hydrocity stage, but they did it for Sonic Mania.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds, I mean, I don't know if you've heard it, but that sounds really good. And Hydrocity, that was on, Hydrocity, however you say it, that was in Sonic 3.
Okay.
And I always like that one. And I think it was like the third stage of like, you were like in the mountains or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Sonic 3 had some good music. Sonic 3 was the hardest one to complete for me though.
I have Sonic Mania. I haven't played that far into it, so I got to dig into it. So.
Okay.
So you know what? Just pull up the soundtrack on YouTube.
Okay.
And the Studiopolis. Like they had a like really good soundtrack in Sonic Mania. They did a good job.
And then even wasn't it the casino part? It has like the jam breakdown that dun 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 dun. And then one thing I found out was one of my favorite MJ songs is "Stranger in Moscow," and there's a YouTube channel where they talk about. I guess Michael Jackson was actually in Moscow. He was doing his tour, and he was like feeling lonely. And actually, the guy that was working on Sonic 3, they did borrow from remember when the stage ends and they play the music once you beat the game, and it sounds like "Stranger in Moscow." So they did take elements of that and then put it and use it for "Stranger in Moscow."
Yeah.
So man, that's thank you, man, because you are one of the few that like Sonic, man. We ask a lot of people.
I also want to say that if you actually have that cartridge or anything, that I think that like when they re-released it about a year or two ago, they've taken that music out, from what I understand. So like if you have the cartridge, you actually have a keepsake.
Yeah, I still have the cartridge because unfortunately because of the allegations they took the music out. They changed the music.
I may have a cartridge, but I know for a fact that I have the version that came out on GameCube back in about 2001. So I think it may still be in there. I'm not sure. I have to play it and find out. But yeah.
So Josh, we know your team Sega. What do you think is the greatest console so far in gaming?
Okay. In gaming, as far as greatest console so far, and is this like looking at it all time or just as far as like the
all time?
Okay. All time, I still have to go with the PS2. And I know it kind of sounds a little cliche for me to say that, but there are so many great titles that I associate with that console, including some which were ported from the arcade. So I like the fact that you could play Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on the PS. I have a copy of that game. I played it all the time in arcade. And you could actually, through entering a set number of codes, you could set it up for a kind of tournament mode format to where all the characters are automatically unlocked. So you imagine getting that set up and then inviting, all your friends over or wherever y'all are hanging out at, and then just having everybody duke it out in a tournament format. At one of the schools I was coming up at in middle school, we actually had a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 tournament. So there's that. There's the Tekken titles. Then there's just the versatility of the PS2 in general. Being able to play games like Guitar Hero. I have really fun memories of Guitar Hero, Dance Dance Revolution, which some people are saying needs a serious comeback. Just all of these great games that you could still enjoy as a family. And then even some standalone classics, like there was a game called Black, which is like a first-person shooter. And it's a little bit different in terms of you're kind of limited in movement. Like you can sort of walk around and kind of jump a bit. You can't do an awful whole lot compared to some of the more modern first-person shooters. But it was great in terms of its mission-by-mission format and your ability to find and discover secrets. You could gather like intel and laptops and other hidden sources of information. And then you just kind of felt like a one-man army, because while you had a lot of opposition against you, you could just kind of barge through, and if you had the right artillery, you could just start lighting people up. So but it just there are a lot of great titles in that area. I happen to be probably one of the few people on y'all's platform who you could say is a passionate sports gamer. And I know for the PS2, there are two titles in particular, well, three that I like. They did a modern rendition of NBA Jam. There was NBA Street Volume 2, which some people say is one of the greatest basketball games ever. And then there's ESPN NFL 2K5, which was doing stuff like way back in 2004 that Madden is just now starting to figure out. So just the realism of that game in particular, and then you got the professional ESPN polished presentation. It made that game like such a timeless classic that these days all people are doing is they'll download rosters from online. Like people are making updated rosters based on players playing today, and then they can download them into the game. So they're playing 2K5, but they're using today's rosters. So that's how much people swear by that game. So there's just so much to do to this day with the PS, even with HD gaming recordings. They have HD technology, where you could record, PS2 titles, but you could record it in a high quality format and then share it online on TikTok or YouTube or wherever. Yeah. No, that's cool. And you just made me think about it, man. We haven't seen NBA jams since the PlayStation 2.
Yeah. Well, there was one that came out on a Wii. And the 360.
Really? There were a couple. There's one that came out in I think 2010 or 2011. It was also on the Xbox 360 because I had that. And then they made a sequel based on the following season. But after that they just stopped. So there hasn't been any.
Wow, I didn't even know that. Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Didn't they just Didn't they just release an NBA Jam? I keep seeing something that's popping up on my phone.
Well, they're trying to release, I think it's called NBA The Run or something like that. They're getting ready to come out with it, but they're trying to bring back the same elements that made NBA Street Volume 2 so good. So they're taking that game, it'll be kind of a street ball format, and then they're taking several NBA stars. They're going to have Luka Doncic, Anthony Edwards, Cooper Flag, and LaMelo Ball. Those are four who I know for sure will be in the game.
Okay.
They need to put Wemby in there because he's just such a cheat code in real life. But yeah, I'm excited about it.
Wow. So what was your all-time favorite PlayStation 2 game?
Okay, my all-time favorite PS2 game, I still have to go with and it's tough, but I have to go with Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Okay.
I liked Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3 because it just had one of the largest rosters we've seen, but before they came out with the most recent one. But I still have to go with Marvel 2 because I grew up on specifically on Street Fighter. Like I played Tekken, but I know in terms of like if I were to say who I am at my core, I still like the straight up, side to side fighters, where there's no, with Tekken, you've got up, down, left, right. With Street Fighter, you have to be strategic because you just have left and right. You got to make sure you don't get cornered. You have to know your strengths, but also your opponent's strengths and weaknesses too. But with Marvel 2, because 3-on-3 tag team was such a unique format back when it first came out. And then it's just the creativity of being able to chain everybody's attacks and abilities. You could go from one combo and then you could link to another, and all of a sudden your teammate jumps in and finishes what your other guy had started. So just that unique tag team format where you've got 6 people on the same stage, 3 against 3. It was unparalleled. Nobody else was doing anything like that. I respect Smash Brothers and the other fighters, but Capcom was on to something special with how they were able to take both Japanese and American characters and then pit them against each other in arena style combat.
Yeah. So Sharon, you have a few Marvel versus Capcom, if I'm not mistaken.
I think I have all of them. But I do. I did recently get. It's a package that I bought on a Nintendo Switch 2, and Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is in it, along with Marvel Superheroes, Marvel vs. Street Fighter vs. X-Men, and it also has that Punisher arcade game. But yeah, did I say Marvel Superheroes? Yeah,
I think you did. Yeah.
it has a combination of all of those, and Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is really a great game. I liked how it was 2D slash 3D. Like the backgrounds would be in 3D, and like the foreground where you're fighting is 2D, and I thought that was always like a really cool look, And I remember seeing it in arcades. Never played it a lot, but one of my kids, we were playing it. He was playing it the other day, and I was watching him kind of go through it, like with all the 3-on-3 and like the characters jumping in. It was just wow, It reminded me of like the early 2000s arcade era, and it's just like just mindless fun, and that's what that game is to me. I mean, it's
And we just recently downloaded the was it the Marvel game that just came out? Was it what's the title?
Cosmic Invasion.
Cosmic Invasion.
Yeah.
And the element that you talk about, like jumping in and out,
Yeah.
it has that mechanic in the game.
That's
At
right.
first I didn't understand it, but
Yeah.
as we were getting our asses kicked, I appreciated it.
Like, yeah.
Oh man. So you say you're heavy into sports games. What is your with that being said, what is your favorite sports game? I think, and to be honest, I haven't played a sports game since the Dreamcast, the 2K series. So I'm pretty sure the sports games have evolved a lot since then.
Oh yeah, absolutely. My favorite sports game personally is NBA 2K. Even though what's funny about that is my favorite sport is actually American football. Because, technically we've got 2 different footballs because there's the one where you actually use your foot. But
yeah.
I like our football, but I do like, I think 2K just has the best format in terms of just realistic sports in general. And then the thought they put, because these days, you actually have to learn and master every individual player's jump shot. As far as mastering their timing, every player has a unique shooting form. That's not something that people put into account back in like the olden days.
Oh no.
I like 2K and then all of the different game modes that are available. That you could create your own players, start their career, give them their unique signatures. The way that they dunk, the way they do layups, the way they shoot, the way they dribble, all of that is unique to your person. You got my team where you can build like basically a superpower team based off of NBA All-Stars from the past and present. So there's an appreciation for basketball history as well with 2K. And then you've got the regular franchise modes where you could either, play through your favorite team and try to lead them to a championship, or you could take a really bad team and rebuild them over the course of several years and see if you could make them a championship contender. So I
So
like
it's
those
pretty,
elements. And then, of course, we all, even to this day, we all like cheat codes, even though they take a different format these days. So
yeah.
some of these games, including 2K's titles, have little glitches to them. I actually figured one out because I still have NBA 2K14 on the Xbox 360. But there's a glitch where if you do career mode, instead of you having to grind to earn the skill points to make your player better, there's a way where if you have a certain number of skill points, you can purchase a certain jump shot or signature skill. It kind of has to be like sort of in the ballpark of the amount of skill points you have. But when you make that purchase, all of a sudden the account on your the balance on your account goes negative. And once it does that, you can purchase as much as you want. So technically you're like in debt. So like by the time I got done purchasing all the skills I wanted, I was like negative 148,000. But my player is like super juiced up.
Yeah.
So now I'm going into the career mode and I'm dominating teams, and I got drafted by the Atlanta Hawks. So I'm like, let's see if I could single-handedly take them to the finals and win a championship. Because now I got all the skills I need, so I'm just dunking on everybody and making highlight passes and stuff.
That's wild.
So it's cool for you to be able to kind of mess with the game and manipulate things and figure out these hidden secrets that people kind of discover just obsessively playing with the game and experimenting to see what they can do.
That's cool because I remember you remember it, Sharon, with Tecmo Bowl. You got all you do is choose Bo Jackson.
Yeah,
Bo Jackson.
Run around everybody. Like, we started playing to the point it was like, yeah, you can't choose Bo Jackson. You can't choose that team because,
Bo Jackson dominated the whole game. Then the old games, the Sega games, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Just Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The roster guard 99 is what they call them in some of the late 90s games.
Yeah. That's true. Man, so what's your favorite era of gaming so far?
That's an interesting one. I think my favorite era of gaming, I would say, would have to be as tough as it is. I would say that kind of like the late 2000s to early 2010s, and I choose that era in particular because it was before people, things got too obsessive when it came to DLC. Like having add-ons that were on games that originally you could just unlock through hard work.
Right.
Honestly. I mean, we were starting to see the early stages of DLC even then, but it wasn't as aggressive as it is now to where people make you pay for everything.
Oh, yeah.
But I love that era of gaming because that was when I really got into playing, online with my friends, like playing the Halo titles, the Call of Duty. Halo 2 was actually the first game out of that series that I got into. Being able to, even at that time, like around 2010, I'm in high school around this time. But just being able to play Halo 3, Modern Warfare 2 and 3, Black Ops, playing those games with my friends, and we're chatting with each other online and in our parties. But this is before, life got too busy and we all started, starting families and starting our careers and moving in different areas. But I just enjoy that era of gaming because, it was a little more fun and a little more down to earth back then. Things hadn't become as complicated with all of the marketing ploys we have today.
Yeah.
So memories from that area, just not just being able to enjoy it, but being able to enjoy it with the friends I grew up with.
Yeah.
Because I hate now that I don't want to sign an account to be on a, I don't want to sign on an account like you say. Sometimes the advertisements, hey, get this ad on the snap. I just want to play the game.
Right.
I didn't ask for all that. And besides sports games, what other genres are you heavy on? Well, it sounds like person shooters.
Yeah, I
as
kind of
well.
just referenced it. I like shooters. I like any good kind of action/adventure games. So I'll play, I'll do Super Mario Galaxy. I'll do some Legend of Zelda games. I also like the Marvel Spider-Man, both the 2018 version and then Marvel Spider-Man 2. Those are both really good. Just even with, I like how they built the skill trees where you can level up your abilities. I like some of the Star Wars titles, specifically like Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor.
Good game.
And there's so much content to them. It's like you could go along the main timeline and main storyline, but there are so many side quests and side missions in so many places where you could just explore and discover stuff. That's what I like about it. Like I like games that reward you for curiosity, where it's like, okay, I could go this way, but there's like 2 or 3 caves out this way, and I want to check out each and every one of them just to see what's in there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I really enjoy the games like that, and just any game that has a combination of both great gameplay, but then also just an engaging storyline where you feel a connection to the characters and you're actually curious to know how things turn out for each and every one of them. So that kind of stuff is what keeps me coming and keeps me purposing to continue exploring and discovering stuff. So that's really so as far as my genres, I like games like that as well, where it's almost like it's more than just playing a game, but in a way it could almost be like reading a novel or watching your way through a movie.
Right.
Yeah, that's sometimes I get lost in
Yeah.
like the Harry Potter game. I'm sitting there like, damn. I'm
Right.
watching it like it's a movie, like, oh shit, this time for me
Yeah.
to play. And you also mentioned, man, you're an artist too. I mean, Sharon's an artist as well too. My
Okay.
boy, he's based out of the Mississippi Gulf Coast,
Yeah.
man. What type of art do you do?
Okay, well, for me, and I kind of referenced it earlier, but I'm a bit of a comic book artist. I
Yeah,
also
that's
like
right.
just doing concept art in general, because I have roots in creative writing, so I like generating stories myself.
Hmm.
I actually got a couple of characters copyrighted back in 2020, and I'm just working on actually putting the book together digitally now. But since I was young, I would get in trouble in school for drawing in the middle of class. So, I definitely always had the passion there. The Sonic comics I was telling you about, I would do those
Yeah.
on straight notebook paper, and I would actually use the lines on the notebook paper as guides for how I organized the panels. So they didn't really distract me; they actually kind of helped me along. But I have a bunch of sketch pads, so I can draw traditionally, or sometimes I use a digital tablet, so I can be back and forth between both. But I have a good vision for how like I want a character to look, and then I start designing that character. So I may do a little bit of research on Pinterest if they follow a specific theme or fashion trope, and then I just kind of start putting things together. So each character could be like a collage, all the way down to how they look. Like I could have a general feel for how they look, and then I'll get a bunch of portraits of people who kind of look like them. But then I'll take the features in particular that I want, and then I combine them to make a new person. So it's things like that. Then just figuring out the setting. So I'm the type where I'm realizing while I'm capable of doing a lot, it never hurts also to ask for help. So for me, I'm at a stage now where I'm realizing, while I may sketch and while I may draw, I may need to commission someone to ink or someone to color, just for the sake of saving time and being more efficient. Because you could be a one man band, but it never hurts to kind of distribute the workload. But when it comes to the core foundational idea, that is something that I always want to have control over because, I know exactly how I want things to look and where I want them to take place.
Wow, Sharon, how do you? Because Sharon, man, you guys got to link up, man. Sharon,
Yeah.
I never asked you that, man. How do you? What is your inspiration? He be drawing like universes and squares and futuristic.
I'm gonna be honest, I find a lot of my inspiration through music, good music. That's where I am. Like, I know that like I hear a certain track, and if I'm inspired, I'll see colors and images and lines, kind of like Fantasia, you know. And it's like, okay, I just got an idea, or sometimes I'll see like another artist and I'll see something. I was like, how can I build off of that? I was like, this is really cool. Like one of my favorite artists is Christian Reese Lasson, and he does a lot of the marine art. You'll see like a lot of the stuff on postcards, folders, tablets, things like that. You have like the very detailed dolphins, and they're jumping out in the vivid blue skies, and it's just like a very clean world, kind of look. And that inspires me. I'm working on a new image right now. It's gonna be sort of, I want to say Wizard of Oz-ish inspired. Like half of the picture is gonna be in black and white, and the other half behind the door is gonna be in color. And it's a work in progress right now. It's like it's build. I'm kind of building it as I go. I know how I want it to look, but I'm doing like little add-ins. So I want to do this here, do this there, But yeah, other than that, man, my inspiration is always like music, music. Like I feel like rhythms, and it just kind of hits me like that.
Man, that's cool, man. Y'all both artists, man. I just do music and podcasts. Josh, 2026. What games are you looking forward to?
Wolverine, which comes out later on this fall. I'm excited about that game in particular. As far as other games, let me see. I'd have to check, like, because really a lot of the games I'm interested in are games I'm trying to get right now, kind of like Claire Obscura. I keep
Yeah,
hearing about
okay.
that RPG and how good it is.
Yeah.
It's super expensive, but it's like it'll be an investment. So I definitely want to pick that one out.
You know what? You ain't lying. I'm over in the Wii store. I'm sorry, the Switch 2 store. I'll get you later.
Put that little
So I could appreciate that. I could
Yeah,
appreciate that.
you tag it with that little heart. Look out, Mark. I know you got No Man's Sky, and one of the games I want to get when I get more memory is No Man's Sky because I mean, once again, I love cosmic and outer space. And I was looking at that, I was like,
Yeah.
why don't I have this? You know. And there was another one that I was looking at last night that was on sale. I think it's still on sale. And the game came out like 2018. I can't remember the name of it, but I know I pinned it. Because they were selling it last night for like maybe $8 to $10, and it's kind of like a take on No Man's Sky, but you just
Is it
that
Everspace?
was it. Everspace.
Yeah, yeah, I got that
Okay.
one too. So basically we're like you, man. We window shop.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna mention No Man's Sky, that one, and then another one that Marvel's doing is Blade. I don't know if it'll be either this year or next year, but yeah,
Blade,
not
the
like
vampire.
Vampire Slayer Blade.
Okay.
Yeah,
Man, okay. I'm gonna add
yeah,
that on the list.
yeah. They've got a game set to come out for him too. I'm just trying to remember if they're going to do it this year or if they're pushing it back a bit. But I'm excited about that one as well.
Now let me ask you this, Josh. Is the
Mhm.
the Wolverine game that's coming out, you think it's gonna be on Nintendo Switch too?
I can't say for sure. I know it's definitely going to be Xbox,
Yeah.
Series X
Okay.
slash S and PS5.
Yeah.
But what's cool about it is it's going to it's going to take place in multiple locations.
Yeah.
So there will be a portion in Wolverine's, kind of basically his homeland of Canada.
Mm-hmm.
There's a portion that's in Japan. I think there's a portion that's in Russia. So it bounces around a lot because he has history in all of those areas.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, with the comic books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it looks like just looking at some of the screenshots that they've been leaking, it's looking like graphically it's going to be brilliant and
Yeah.
it'll be accurate geographically to those locations too.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've seen the pictures for it and everything, and maybe like a little gameplay across YouTube, and it does look phenomenal. So that's why
Yeah,
I was
they
wondering.
typically find ways to get certain games ported to the Nintendo Switch, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if they tried it.
Because I mean, we got the Switch too, and
Yeah.
it's not as powerful as a PS5, but it is on par with a PS4. Maybe a bit more powerful than a PS4. So it's like I wonder, like, I hope we get that game. Because I'm not. I mean, no,
I hope so.
no shade to PlayStation. I'm not buying a PS5. It's just, I got mortgages and but I got to pick and choose now.
Oh yeah, man. I was actually what
I'm
was
gonna
I?
have to get PC next time.
I was watching something, man, but I don't know due to inflation.
Yeah.
But I remember like when I got my Sega Genesis, it was $150 with the Sonic the Hedgehog. And now you look at the price of games or systems, this is like, oh my God. And then we were talking earlier just about memory. Like I just got my Switch 2 on Christmas and memory cards coming tomorrow, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you
Man.
seen there's so many funny memes based on that? It's like, because especially for like if you're an Xbox or PlayStation user like me, it's like when you have to
Yeah.
decide like which games to keep and which to get rid of.
Mhm.
And it's a
Yeah.
picture of it's a picture of a kid with tears in his eyes and he's got a gun
Yeah.
and he puts it out.
Hey,
It's really what it feels
Yeah.
like because it's like I can't have the memory to play everything side to the side. Like
Right.
what am I gonna dig into?
look, Mark.
And I hate
go-
that. I hate that,
That
man.
goes to my saying. I count my gigs like I count my calories. You gotta choose.
I just miss the days of, hey, you got the cartridges. I mean, yeah, they take up space, but you don't have to get rid of a cartridge just to play another game. And now it's just like, and that's the main appeal. So I know if I download a retro game, it ain't gonna take up that much space.
Yeah.
But now, cause like, what's on my list is the Legend of Zelda bundle. And I already know that memory. And then we were talking
Wait.
earlier, you don't know how the new Grand Theft
Wait a minute,
Auto.
hang on.
I can only imagine how much memory that's gonna be.
Rewind. You said Legend of Zelda bundle.
Yeah, there's a bundle with on the Switch too, with the last two Legend
Oh,
of
okay, never
Zeldas.
mind. I thought something else was about to drop. I was like, hold up, did they do Ocarina of Time? But okay, yeah, I
Yeah.
have those. Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Mark, I saw your post and it said one has to go. It said Majora's Mask or Ocarina of Time. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna just keep scrolling because I definitely don't want to take this challenge on.
Well, you know what? I can answer that easily because I never actually played Majora's Mask, so I'm keeping Ocarina of Time because I remember where I was when I was playing that, and I had the best time playing Ocarina of Time. It was like the most fun
Yeah.
ever on Nintendo 64. I mean, like I said, Majora's Mask is not a bad game. I just didn't play it because at that time when it came out, I think sometime like right after I finished Ocarina of Time, I wound up with a Sega Dreamcast. So I had jumped into games like Hydro Thunder and Soul Calibur and like Samba de Amigo and Ready to Rumble. I was playing all that. So like there's no shade to Majora's Mask. I probably jump back and play it again. Play it, period. Like, Ocarina of Time, that stays.
And that's me now, because I had a Wii, and the reason why I had a Wii was my daughter was younger and she liked the Wii. And then after that, I was Xbox 360, Xbox One S, and now I'm coming back to Nintendo. So there's a whole bunch of Nintendo games that I just totally didn't pay attention to. And now it's like, rewind.
But when it comes down to the systems, I don't think that there really is a wrong system. It's like, what are you having fun with at the time? Because I can jump all the way back to playing a retro game, Excite Bike, and have just as much fun as playing something that came out 2 days ago. It's just.
But I feel like Xbox and PlayStation have the shooters on lock, the first person shooters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Josh, you could verify that for me.
Well, yeah, I mean, just considering how much, like, for starters, they just keep making Call of Duty games, and I'm like, what other era of warfare can we cover at this point? I mean, they even kind of touched on the future when they released Advanced Warfare back in like 2013. When you could basically, they had you doing parkour and launching off jetpacks and sniping people from the air. It's between that and then it's looking like they're going to start porting the a Halo title to the PS5. So now, for the first time in history, Halo's no longer going to be limited to Xbox. Now you'll be able to play it, whether Xbox or PlayStation. So it's just interesting because with that, it's almost like kind of a peace treaty between Sony and Microsoft now. It's just
because we know they had bad blood for a while.
Yeah, it's just stuff that you thought you'd never see, but now they're starting to intermingle with some of their core franchises.
Well, we never thought that we'd see Sonic on Nintendo, so it was like peace treaty.
No, that's true.
So I mean, I think at some I think at some point after they've made all the money they can make, like, how can I do this? Hey, let's cross pollinate. Like, let's shake hands and join up, and boom. Like, we'll do that. So it's like,
because y'all remember back in the day, that's what you hardcore Mario or Sonic.
Yeah,
he was.
That wasn't happening. Like,
true.
you wasn't about to get Sonic on Nintendo. But then one day it happened. I was like, oh shit, this is really happening. It's like, okay, grab that.
So
do it.
Josh, man, thank you so much for being on the show, man. Another great episode, and man, thank you. And we gotta get you back on and pick your brain. I know you have so much history and knowledge in the games, and thank you, man, for being on the show. So we already talked about the games you're looking forward to, but any parting words, man, before we say goodbye to the listeners?
Well, I was going to bring up a title called Killer Instinct. That's a fighting game that I got into recently. Yeah. I guess next time around we could delve a bit deeper into fighters, because while I said my preference was Marvel versus Capcom 2, there's still so much that I could say about Tekken and Smash Brothers and some of the other fighters that have come along down the road. Dead or Alive, Virtua Fighter. So, maybe in the future we could discuss that.
Yeah.
Other than that, I just like to say, video game lore is very rich. It's actually inspired my tastes in music, in certain songs I've become drawn to because of the music that they put, like even when you're navigating menus and stuff, even with the sports games, there's music I've developed a fondness from just because they, a lot of the sports games come with soundtracks. So it's funny seeing how video games and music can come together. But I say all of that to say that video games can be just as much of a source of inspiration as any other art form or any life experience. So it's cool to see how everything connects and intertwines.
Oh yeah. No, we can. Next time we have him, we definitely talk about fighters. Killer Instinct.
Hey, I like fighters.
Me and Sharon.
I love fighters.
Yeah, Killer Instinct. That was
I remember when I first saw Killer Instinct in the arcade. We were in Edgewater Mall, and it was in the food court. They used to have an arcade off to the side, and that game was in there along with Moonwalker. And
it was like, what is this? What is it? Rare. Yeah, that's when Rare just changed the game. But Sharon, do you have any parting words, man, before we end
But yeah,
this?
like I like to say, like aside from video games, don't forget to get out and get some sunshine, a little exercise. So go to the gym, and have fun. You know,
Touch grass.
Yeah.
touch grass. Well, it's winter time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting
Yeah.
snow right now in North Carolina. But I'd like to say, man, guys, leave a comment, like, subscribe, rate us on your favorite platform or on YouTube, and then let us know, man, what you would like us to discuss. And ladies and gentlemen, myself, Josh, and Sharon sign off for another episode of 40 Something Gamers. Thank you.